ओम नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंदसूरये सच्चित् सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. Dear friends, I am very happy to be here this evening. Just now, you heard that we are going to have a program on total personality development. You know, in the corporate sector, all of you are aware that TQM is very popular. Total Quality Management, Zero Defect. After that, another thing that has come is TQP. That is Total Quality Personnel, because they have found that if we want to introduce productivity, if we want to increase productivity of an individual is also equally important. Without that, the productivity of an organization will not increase. And suddenly HRD, Human Resource Development Department, which was previously Personnel Department, has assumed great significance. So TQP courses are now going on, and the organization have realized that this is a good investment, training the personnel. Previously that was not so. So TQM popular, TQP gradually become popular. But what I am going to talk about is TPD. It's a new concept I am trying to evolve. Why I gave the name is because of two reasons. Number one, total word is very popular, so packaging is very important. Second, more importantly, we have to discriminate between personality development and total personality development. So many courses are being organized all over the country, even outside the country, on personality development. You might have attended also many programs. Most of the programs, what is being given there is how you can impress others, how you can have an attractive personality, and how to appear in the interview, how to develop positive thinking, then how to have better appearance, what type of matching dress, what type of hairstyle, what type of etiquettes and manners. Hello, how are you? Fine, thank you. How to have etiquettes, manners, table manners, how to interact, how to communicate, at the most public speaking, and that's all. So, personality development mostly, in most of the programs, revolves around how you appear to be. But, if you want long-term success, long-term happiness, long-term peace, only external development of the personality is not enough. What we should have is total personality development. Not only external development of the personality, but also the internal development of the personality. Stephen Covey, in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, in his introduction says that he went through the books published during last 200 years on self-development, and he found that the books that were published during last 50 years were completely different from the types of books that were published previous to that 150 years earlier to that period. Earlier books on self-development by Orison Swett Marden, Norman Vincent Peale, and Samuel Smiles on self-help, and all those books, when they were dealing with personality development, self-development, they were basically dealing with so many values like honesty, truthfulness, sincerity, dedication, character building and all that. Now later books which are published during last 50 years, they are focusing only on the external part of the development of the personality, that is communication skill, etiquettes, manners, not mentioning about the real values which are essential part of character building. And that is exactly why the executives, managers, youth, they are having high ambition, very ambitious, and they move at a very high speed, a little failure and they break down. Because there is no metal inside. A little failure and simply they are depressed. I want to commit suicide, ending up in a schizophrenic case. Why all these things happening? Because very, very brittle mind, very, very weak mind, external very good personality. They have learned communication skill, they can impress upon others, but they can't impress themselves. They can show that they are very confident to others, but inside they are brittle. At the slightest problem of life, at the slightest struggle, at the slightest failure, they just break down. That is because they have not undergone a course on total personality development. So only external personality development is not enough. Of course that is good, but also internal development of the personality. So what is total personality development? So total personality development is different from the ordinary personality development courses, and this is nothing short of character building. But why I did not give the name character building, that would have been the most appropriate name, because then they would not have come, then you would not have come here. So we must have a good packaging, you know. It is an age of packaging. Personality development is very popular. If I say character building, character, this is all old-fashioned people will be going for character building. So you would not have come. So in order to attract you, I have given a packaging. Total personal development. Yes, you have come. Now you are under my net. For 3 days, I will wash you out. Once you are here, you will be able to realize. I will give glaring example, one after another. What happens if you do not have total personal development? How many youths, according to UNESCO report, 54% of the youth in America, Japan and Sweden are not meeting natural death. The cause of their death is suicide. Western youths, full of energy, full of enthusiasm, full of outward show, full of external personality, going mad after sensual pleasures and then becoming drug addict and schizophrenic and then suicide. Same trend is now coming to our Indian youths. I am specially addressing to the youths because the personality development program aims at development of the personality. And whenever you have to develop a personality, when it can be developed at any stage of life, even after 60 years it can be developed, but becomes difficult. When you have to restructure the whole house, it becomes very difficult. But if you have to construct a new house from the foundation, you can prepare the house in your own manner. You can have your own design. But if you want to have a redesigning the whole house which has already been built earlier, becomes a little difficult, but not impossible. We can make paneer out of it. If the milk has been spoiled, we cannot use that milk, but we can make paneer out of it. But the milk which has not been spoiled can be utilized, can be saved from being spoiled. So, personality development should start at a young age, preferably. So, total personal development, so that's what I was telling you. Our Indian youth today are blindly imitating the Western materialistic culture and blindly imitating the Western youth, and unfortunately, they are seeing with their own eyes how the Western youths are having frustration in their mind, how much they are going after suicides, they are ending up in mental hospitals, they are becoming schizophrenic, and yet our youths want to have blind imitation of Western materialistic culture and Western youths. Swami Vivekananda said, what we want is Western science coupled with Vedanta and Indian culture. He was not dogmatic. He said, let us have good things from all over the world. Let us keep our doors and windows open. Mahatma Gandhi also said, I keep all the doors and the windows of my mind open, but I refuse to be blown off. Swami Vivekananda said, we will certainly accept good things from the Western countries, but let us not have blind imitation of Western culture. In Bengali there is a proverb, কেউ দেখে শিখে, কেউ ঠেকে শিখে, কেউ ঠেকেও না শিখে. Some people learn by others' example, first category. Second category, they do not learn from others' experience. They say, let us make an experiment and let us have a fall in the ditch, and then let us ourselves have a first-hand experience. And so they fall into the ditch. Then they say, no, I will not undergo the same path now, because they have learned their experience. But third type of so intelligent, they fall down into it again and again and go through the same path again and again. Now, our Indian youths are so intelligent, they are following the third path. Rather than becoming the first category. So, we should learn from others' experience. Speed is very good. Very good. But if you go from Ahmedabad towards Kutch or Rajkot at 100 kilometers per hour, and after reaching Rajkot you find, oh, you had to go to Bombay, what happens? Come back to Ahmedabad and go to Bombay. So, you have taken double the time. Rather than that, had you gone with 80 kilometer speed but gone to the right direction, you would have reached earlier. So speed is very important. More important is the direction. At present, youths have missed the direction, they are going full speed, not knowing where to go. There is a Zen story, a horse was galloping at full speed. Somebody asked the person, where are you going? And the person replied, ask the horse. Because it is the horse who is taking me, I am not taking the horse. So, we are not leading the life. It is life which is leading us. We do not know where we are ending up, where we want to go. What is the purpose of life? What is really success? Everybody wants to go for success, but what is success? Certificate? Degree? Marks? Name and fame? Publicity? Is that success? In the morning I talked about when success and fulfillment through concentration and meditation. In that lecture I told, with all that success, you can end up in a mental hospital, all the certificates are of no use. And after death, of course, they all will be buried along with you. That is ultimate success. But even for daily life, happiness and peace, for long-term happiness and peace, you want long-term success. For long-term success, we should have total personality development. That involves physical development of the personality, mental development of the personality, intellectual development of the personality, moral development of the personality, and spiritual development of the personality. That is total personality development. First, of course, is physical development personality. External personality should be very attractive, of course. And there are so many measures you will get, how to look nice and how to have matching dress. You will get a lot of experts to tell you. On external development of the personality, a lot of beauty parlors have opened. Previously, the pan houses were in large number, but I think within a short time, the beauty parlors will overrun the pan houses and hotels and tea shops. So everywhere, beauty parlors. External development personality, physical development personality must. Swami Vivekananda said, what we want is muscles of iron and nerves of a steel. Of course, the physics should be strong, of course. That is what he also wanted. Physics should be strong, a sound mind in a sound body. And that Swami Vivekananda went to the extent of saying, you will be nearer to heaven through football rather than by the study of Gita. So, a student came to me and said, Swamiji, I have left reading Gita. Why? Swamiji said, you will be nearer to heaven through football rather than by study of Gita. So, I have left Gita and I have started playing football. I said, you must understand the meaning. Please switch off if you feel it is uncomfortable, then put it on the silent mode. So, Swami Vivekananda said, what he wanted to say, Swami Vivekananda, is, you will be nearer to heaven through football rather than by the study of Gita. Then see the next sentence. Because by playing football and when your biceps and muscles are strong, you will be able to understand the mighty message of Sri Krishna better. That is why you should become strong. So you should study Gita also. But before you study Gita, you should be strong physically. So first thing is physical strength. Our youth should be first of all physically strong. There are many youths who have completely become physically very, very weak. Whole day, internet, chatting, computers, no exercise, just eating and computer, no time for exercise. So, in UK, that is why they have started yoga classes. Because all the children, for 4 or 5 hours, they are sitting in front of the idiot box or computers and go on taking cream, chocolate and ice cream and go on watching the program. All have become fat. So now the UK and there all the medical bills have to be, all the medical treatment has to be done by the government, not like India. You have to go individually to the doctor. Everything is taken care of. Of course, they take tax out of you also. But everything is done by, medical treatment is carried out by the UK government. Now the medical bills of UK government is fantastic speed. It is going up. So they have now passed an order. All the students must undergo compulsory training of yoga. Because all are becoming fat out of proportion and that is increasing their, because of that they have a lot of problems which comes in old age, diabetes and blood pressure and all those problems are coming to the students. For a different reason they are going for yoga. But physical health is very important. So regular exercise and nutritious diet and balanced diet is very necessary. And you know better than me how to keep the body fit and how to. There are so many fitness clubs have started now. It's a very good trend. The youth have become they have become very cautious about their figure, particularly girls. They are very cautious. They sometimes go to the extreme of going for dieting so much that sometimes you feel if you just blow a little more, they will be blown away. Like this, just for maintaining the figure. So much of dieting. But they have become conscious about their physical. It's okay. But main thing is physically you should be strong. Sound mind and sound body. But that is not enough. There is a boy, very nice looking, 6 feet 5 inches high, tall, strong, an athlete, one blow, he can just finish you out, physically strong, but failing 10 times in examination. Will you say personal development, yes or no? So intellectual development of the personality is a must, along with the physical development of the personality. But even that is not enough. When I was in Rajkot, a girl came to me, MSc first class in microbiology, and she said after coming, Swamiji, I want to commit suicide. Some problem has come and want to commit suicide. Why? Mind has become very weak. Very brilliant, intellectually very brilliant, very good looking girl. Very brilliant, but mentally very weak. So mentally one also should be very strong. Ramakrishna Mission, we have 163 branches all over the world. 40 abroad, 123 in India, out of which 4 are in Gujarat. Rajkot, Limdi, Porbandar, and the latest one has been started in Baroda from where I am coming. And there are 1,000 centers which are not affiliated directly with us, out of which one is in Ahmedabad. You will get the address there in the bookshop. Now, the headquarters is in Bellumat, near Calcutta. One of the centers is in Bangalore. Now, a retired officer used to come to our Bangalore mutt morning, early morning we have Mangal Aarti. So he used to come to attend Mangal Aarti. After Mangal Aarti, he would go back. So what happens? He will go by walking. So morning walk is also finished and Mangal Aarti also attended. So two deeds performed in one act. So every day he used to come like that. One day as he was returning from Mangal Aarti, it was still dark outside and there was nobody in the road. Suddenly he found a tall man, hefty man, looking like an athlete, running after him. And he became very much afraid. Why, my God, I have done nothing wrong I have done to him and he is coming to kill me. So he became very much afraid. And that retired officer started running and that fellow started running after him. And after a retired officer, how much he can run? After some time, he sat down on the footpath and thought this fellow will kill me for no fault of mine, and he did like this and sat down. And this fellow immediately came and just touched him. After touching him, he said, now I have touched you, now you touch me, and immediately fled away. Afterwards, it was found he had fled from the mental hospital. So very good personality, physical, like an athlete, but upar ka madla khali. Gone out of, has become mad, no use. So physical development of the personality, intellectual development of the personality, mental development of the personality. With all that, all these three you might have got, yet you can become a demon, a Rakshasa. You can become Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hitler, Mussolini, Bin Laden. If the fourth thing is not there. And what is that? What is demon? Rakshasa? Of course, demons are, these I am talking about the modern demons, modern Rakshasas. Not the old Rakshasa you see in the TV with two horns looking like black ones and all that. No. The modern Rakshasas, they appear in safari suit. Beautiful. Banarsi sari, Rakshasi. So nice. Looking very nice outwardly, but Rakshasi and Rakshasa. You will find everywhere in the society. They are moving. When I tell you what is this Rakshasa all about, then you will find out, yes, they are all living in my neighborhood. What is this Rakshasa business? Bharati says in his book, Niti Shatakam, that there are 4 types of people in the society. What are the 4 types? Number 1, he says, Ete satpurushaha parartha ghataka swarthan parityajyaye samanyastu parartham udyam abrata swartha virodhena ye temi manush raksasaha parahitam nignanti ye nignanti nirarthakam parahitam teke na jani mahe. There are 4 types of people in the society. What are the 4 types? Number 1, Ete satpurushaha. He gives the name Satpurusha. What are they like? They are good people. Decent people. What are they like? They try to do good to others, even at the cost of their own suffering. They first try to think good of others, and they try to think of good of themselves. They are so service-oriented. Satpurusha. Second, Samanya Manusha. Ordinary human beings. What do? They first try to do good to themselves and then they try to do good to others. Ordinary human beings. Third, Manush Raksasaha. They are looking like human beings, but they are nothing but demons. So he gave the name Manush Rakshasa. Demons in the form of human beings. Manush Rakshasa. What do they do? For their small self-interest, they can do any amount of harm to others. That is Manush Rakshasa. Where are they available? In your neighborhood only they are available. You can see for them yourself. These Manush Rakshasa. Example, there is an executive engineer. What does he do? He takes 10 lakhs of rupees from under the table, not from above the table. And tells the contractor, you can mix any amount of cement with sand and construct the check dam. I don't mind. Give me 10 lakhs of rupees. And the contractor naturally, after paying 10 lakhs of rupees, he doesn't use cement. He uses only sand, very little cement. And the check dam is constructed and there is heavy rainfall. and the check dam is washed out. Thousands of people become homeless, hundreds of people die, thousands of houses are washed out, millions of rupees of loss to the nation. This engineer says, doesn't matter. दुनिया जाए भाड़ में, समाज जाए भाड़ में, देश जाए भाड़ में, मेरा तो मकान बन गया 10 लाख में, बस. Manush Rakshasa. Very nice, you looking human being. Executive engineer. Very safari suit he will attend. Beautiful specs, 3.5 lakhs rupees. Recently, now they are available in New Delhi with golden frame. Beautiful specs, beautiful dress, very nice looking. Manush Rakshasa. Doctor. Very nice looking lady doctor. Bombay. One of our relatives, one of our devotees went from Rajkot to Bombay for further treatment because in Rajkot that treatment was not available. And the devotee reported to me, Swamiji, the first question that doctor asked was, she didn't ask, since how long you are suffering? What is the problem? Where is the pain? Nothing. The first question was, how much can you spend? What is your budget? And according to budget, we will make everything, don't worry. Now is an age of packaging. 3.5 lakh packaging, 5 lakhs rupees packaging. There are different packages. With that package, they will say, they will first find out the test, and it must be done in the laboratory which they recommend. They will telephone what type of disease to be found out, and that disease will be found out, and they will operate even if it is not necessary. And if the patient dies, they will tell, oh, you came a little bit late, otherwise we would have saved you, the patient. Anyway, don't worry. This package takes care of the final rites also. Up to cremation ground, all expenditure will be ours. So everything done. Don't worry, within that your budgeted cost will take care of Smashan Yatra of your patient also. Beautiful looking lady doctor. But Rakshasi. Manush Rakshasa. These are the 3 types of people. And then Bharti says there is 4th type also. But I can't give the name. Te ke na jani mahe. I don't know what name to be given, Bharti says. First is Satpurusha. Second, Samanya Manusha. Third, Manush Rakshasa. Now these people are worse than Manush Rakshasa. So I can't give the name. Teke na jani mahe. I can't give the name. You give the name. I can tell you what do they do. Third type of people, for their small self-interest, they can do any amount of harm to others. And 4th type, they enjoy others' loss. They are not having any benefit to themselves, but they laugh at others' downfall. When somebody falls into the street, wonderful, wonderful. Somebody has fallen and they feel great joy. Somebody's house is burning, very nice, very nice. But did you get some benefit? No, I become very happy when his house is burning. Somebody failed in the examination. Oh, very nice. Did you get 1% marks extra? No, but I am very happy he has failed. Somebody got demoted, very happy. Did you get promotion? No, but he has got demoted. I am very happy. These are the 4 type of people. Without their only self-interest for them, they just enjoy others' downfall and others' loss. They are worse than Manush Rakshasa. But name is not given. And now I have made the latest discovery, there is a 5th type also. Perhaps they were not available at the time of Bhartrihari. Now, take na janima. I can't give the name because 4th type no name available, 5th type name not available, but I can tell you what do they do. 4th type are such, without their any self-interest, they enjoy others' downfall. Now the 5th type are such, they enjoy others' harm and others' downfall so much, by harming themselves they do harm to others. So, they sit down in the aeroplane and then just strike at the World Tower broken, 5,000 people dead, very nice. I have died, doesn't matter, but 5,000 people dead, I am so happy. Isn't it? Isn't it? Let my one eye go, but let my neighbor lose both the eyes and fall into the well and die. So happy. You know that story of conch shell. You know? That neighbor losing both the eyes. Don't know? Huh? You know? So, let my neighbor fall down and die. Let me lose one eye, but let their neighbor die. So by harming themselves, they try to harm others. That is the fifth type. In our society today, we have plenty of Manus Rakshasa, third variety, fourth type also, and fifth type also. And second variety, second class of people, that is Samana Manusha, are very less. And Satpurusha, we have to see with the microscope, not available. Absolute minority. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, what we want is man-making education, character-building education. That is why he also always wanted, which is lacking. And that is the main problem with our education system. We should always go for total personality development, which takes care of this moral development of the personality, moral values. Value education is not there. We have been talking about it for a long time in our nation. But still, as on today, we are following the education system left by Lord Macaulay. In 1836, he started this education system so that we remain the slaves and we can't develop our personality and we remain as slaves. This is what is happening even today. With all the educational, so many commissions, we are not able to implement the value education programs. On 16th April 2003, I was at Rashtrapati Bhavan with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I had gone there to gift the video CD we had prepared and the book that we had prepared based on his speech delivered to 3,000 youths on 13th February 2002. At the time, he had not yet become president, but he had come to inaugurate one of the 81 school buildings constructed by us as a part of earthquake rehabilitation project, for which we spent about 20 crores of rupees during the earthquake of Gujarat. So he inaugurated the school, and then I gave that video CD and book and a lot of other books on Swami Vivekananda and a photograph of Swami Vivekananda. And I was little apprehensive. So I was not meeting him because before becoming president, we had a lot of talks during our car travel from Rajkot to Porbandar for 3 hours, then again on the same day, then again on the same evening in the aeroplane from Rajkot to Bombay. So we had a lot of talks, we had a lot of telephone connections. But when he became president, I thought of not disturbing him. And I thought now he has become a big man, so why should I disturb him? But I found, even after becoming president, he is as humble as ever. There's no change. When I gave all those things to him, he simply stood up and said, Swamiji, you brought so many things for me. I said, what can I bring for you? Like a fakir, I have come to meet an emperor. Like Sudama, I have come from Sudama Puri. What can I bring for you? Like an emperor. You are like an emperor, I am like a fakir. Immediately he told, only one emperor, Swamiji. We are servants of the same emperor. So humble. And then we had a lot of talks. Then I told Dr. Kalam, Dr. Kalam, you want to make India a great country, a developed country by 2020. Swami Vivekananda also dreamt of great country. He said, India will become so great that all its past glory will fade into insignificance. We also want to do the same thing. We are also trying to do our best. But I can tell you, even if you bring the wealth of the whole World Bank, the poverty of the nation will not go. Why, Swamiji? He simply stood up. I said, for the very simple reason, former Prime Minister told, if you put 1 rupee into the 5-year plan, only 15 paisa comes to the grassroots level farmer. I am afraid even 5 paisa is coming or not. Rampant corruption at all levels. And I have seen with my own eyes. It is not only newspaper reports. I had a first-hand experience. We have to do, Ramakrishna Mission. We are not only doing Ram Nam Japna Parayamal Apna. Whole day just taking the name and meditating. No. We have a lot of projects, rural and tribal development projects. When I was in Ranchi, we had a big project, rural development project, Divya and Krishi Vigyan Kendra. We used to go to the villages and they had a lot of village development work. So we had to go to Patna for some work. Secretariat, I saw with my own eyes what rampant corruption was going on. I am talking about many years back. But I hear it is still there. Of course, corruption is at all level. Corruption is in all the countries. Many countries, there is a lot of corruption. In fact, India is only 10th. There are 9 countries where corruption is more in the whole world. But India is one of the 10 countries where corruption is maximum. Mera Bharat Mahan. But we are 10th, not even the first in that. There are other countries also heading us. But it is a shame. But whatever it is, these corruption is so rampant. I said even 5 paisa is not coming. So all the 5-year plans, you may have any number of plans. The benefits are not reaching the grassroots level. Then Dr. Kalam said, what is the solution, Swamiji? I said, only one solution. What we should have done on 15th August 1947, we should try to do it now. What is that? Swami Vivekananda said, what we want is man-making education, character-building education. Unfortunately, what we are giving is demon-making education, Rakshasa-making education. Yes. We are bringing out very good engineers, doctors, first-class engineers, first-class chartered accountants, all genius and all giants, but selfish giants. Thinking of themselves, not thinking about the country. Let the country go to dogs. Not thinking about poor people, not thinking of others. Swami Vivekananda said, first is man-making education, character-building education. We want excellent character, and then only excellent medical doctors and excellent engineers and excellent chartered accountants. But excellent human beings first. And that is the first condition, is they should be having, if not, they should be unselfish, at least they should have enlightened self-interest. If they can become unselfish, well and good. At least let them be selfish, but let them be not selfish to the extent of damaging others. Let them have enlightened self-interest. So Swami Vivekananda said, what we want is man-making education, character-building education. That is the need of the hour today. And that is why what we want today is total personality development and not personality development. For the sake of our nation, because if India rises high, then only world can be saved. Swami Vivekananda was asked this question, why are you talking so much about India's development and all that? You are a monk. He said, yes, for me, all countries are equal. I belong to the whole world, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. But the whole world has to be saved from the jaws of materialism, consumerism, that can only come with India's spiritual culture spreading all over the world. Then only the world can be saved. And that is why I want that India should conquer the world by its spiritual power, in order to save the world from self-destruction, from the excessive weapons, excessive violence, excessive consumerism. It is very necessary. Spiritual culture of India should spread all over the world. That's why I think about India's progress. And so if India is saved, the world will be saved. If India goes, the world goes. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, what we want is India's development. But that will not be able to take place unless and until they are enlightened citizens. On 12 January 2006, last year, we had a youth convention. As you know, Swami Vivekananda was born on 12 January 1863, and his birthday is celebrated all over the country as National Youth Day, because the government of India declared in 1985 during the International Youth Year that the ideas preached and lived by Swami Vivekananda are very relevant for the modern youths today. And that is why 12 January being celebrated as National Youth Day from 1985 onwards. So last year we had a youth convention in which about 5,000 people, 5,000 youths participated from about 100 educational institutions, and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, President of India, came. He came second time. First time when he came on 13th February 2002, talked to 3,000 youth. At that time, he was not the president. But of course, we had declared in the public meeting that he is great. He is not only Bharat Ratna, but he is a Vishwa Ratna, and he will become great. And within 4 months, he became the president of India. Then again he came. We had announced at that time only that we want you on Swami Vivekananda's birthday. He could not come on 2003, he could not come on 2004, he could not come on 2005, 12 January, but he came on 12 January 2006. He kept up his promise, came there, talked to 5,000 youths, and there was question answer session. He had told me, Swamiji, when I met him on 19 September 2005 at Rashtrapati Bhavan, he said, Swamiji, when you, before I go there, you send me some selected questions. So we collected 1,000 questions from 100 educational institutions, selected 46 best questions and sent to him. And he gave promise. He said, all the 46 questions I will reply and put in my website before I come there. And 12 January, when he landed at Porbandar airport, he told me, Swamiji, I put all them in the website. And here I am on Swami Vivekananda's birthday as per my promise. I said, thank you. But he could not answer all the questions during the meeting, but he put all the answers in the website, but a few questions he replied. I'll just give a sample. A student stood up and asked, Sir, Operation Duryodhan, Operation Chakravyuh, and other operations have revealed the tip of the iceberg, that is rampant corruption in the country today. As the President of India, how do you feel about it? And where do you think lies the solution? Then Dr. Kalam said, you know, Parliament has already taken some action. Then he said, he read out a passage from the book of Swami Vivekananda, in which Swami Vivekananda says, no amount of Parliament acts can make a nation good, can make a nation great. Then what can make a nation good and what can make a nation great? Swami Vivekananda says, only a large number of good people, a large number of good enlightened citizens can make a nation good, can make a nation great. And then Dr. Kalam said, and the government cannot produce good people, and the government will not produce good people. Then who can do it? He said only 3 persons can do it. Father, mother, and the teacher. These 3 persons. That is character building. Unless and until character building of the citizens takes place, national development, national reconstruction cannot take place. That is why there is an urgent need today of character development of the citizens, character development particularly of all citizens. Prime Minister, Chief Ministers, Ministers, IAS officers, IPS officers, businessmen, bank officers, teachers, students, all of them we want to develop their character. But it is very difficult to change one's nature and to change one's character after the character has got established. But in the young age, it is easier to mold the character. And that is why the foundation has to be made strong if you want to have a strong character. And foundation has to be laid before the building has been constructed and not after the construction building is over. Similarly, the foundation of character building, a strong character, has to take place in the young age. That is why I go all over the country talking to lakhs of students. I might have visited more than 1,000 education institutions, talking to the students, talking to the youth about this character development message of Swami Vivekananda, but I give the caption, total personality development, otherwise nobody will come. Total personality development is an urgent necessity today. For our national reconstruction, for saving the world, for saving our country, for development of our nation, we want total personality development. And if we want success, long-term success, with long-term happiness and long-term peace, we must have total personality development, that is character building. Because with simple personality development, we can have success, easy success, but that will not be long-lasting. That will be hollow success. Inside you will fall hollow. You will not have that confidence. And at the smallest problem, you will break down. And that is what is happening to the modern youth, because they are going only for personality development. So one must have total personality development, even for your individual happiness and peace, long-term happiness and peace and long-term success, and also for the development of the nation. We must have total personality development. Now, the question is how to develop total personality. So for total personality development, we must have all the 3. IQ, EQ, and SQ. IQ you know very well, intelligence quotient. Intelligence is very much necessary. And how to develop intelligence, that also you know very well. And there are various types of intelligence, that also you know. Second, EQ. In 1991, as you know, Daniel Goleman made a research and he said, emotional intelligence is more important than IQ. EQ is more important than IQ. What is EQ? That is empathy, sympathy, the power of controlling your emotions, the power of guiding your emotions, the power to take yourself into your hand, is EQ. Example, there is an executive who has got a high IQ, very great knowledge, gold medalist, everything in the tip of his fingers. But there is only one defect with him. What is that? When he gets angry, he takes up the paperweight and throws at his subordinates this paperweight. And so no subordinate wants to work under him. With high IQ, as an executive, he has failed. Why? Low EQ. So EQ is more important than IQ. And the latest discovery is, of the modern science, is SQ. Dana Zohar has written a book. The name of the book is SQ, Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence, where she says, neurologically, biologically, psychologically, physiologically, from every point of view, there is a concluding evidence. There is something called SQ, which is the basis of both IQ and EQ. And what is IQ? IQ will tell you how to play the game of life. What is EQ? EQ will tell you how to play the game of life under changed circumstances with changed strategies. And what is SQ? SQ will tell you whether to play the game of life at all or not. Well, that is your choice. What is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? Why are we living? Where do we go after this? What is the ultimate purpose for which we are striving? This is getting the meaning of life. That is SQ. And Dana Zohar says, once you develop SQ, IQ and EQ are taken care of. Another discovery of the modern science is, IQ is available with all the species, including the computers. EQ is available only with a few species. But SQ is available only with the human species. The old scriptures said, Indian scriptures said, out of 84 lakhs of species, only human beings can have spiritual knowledge, can realize the truth, can realize their self, and can have God, realization of God, and can have access to spiritual knowledge. No other species. And the modern science says, there are not 84 lakhs of species, there are 125 lakhs of species. Well, there is not much difference, because during those times they did not have such fine microscopes. And maybe now cloning is going on so much, they have multiplied the species also. But whatever it is, there is not much difference. The modern science says, out of 125 lakhs of species, only human beings can have SQ. No other species can have SQ. So, both are telling the same thing, development of SQ. This we have to remember. What do we want to become? Human being? Perfect human being? Total human being? A total personality? Mind you, we are not animals and we are not birds. As a human being, we have got certain special power which we must manifest. That is our birthright. What is the difference between a man and an animal? Teilhard de Chardin was a botanist by profession, was a Christian father, but all his findings went and clashed with the beliefs of the Bible. That is why his books were not published during his lifetime, but posthumously his books were published. One of the famous books' name is The Phenomena of Man. And there he raises this question, what is the difference between a man and an animal? And the ordinary reply that we say is, well, human beings are more intelligent. Then he said, not necessarily so. For example, there is a cat. One fine morning you find that you had kept some milk in the kitchen and the cat came and stole the milk and went away. So what do? Next day, you do not keep the milk in the kitchen, you keep it in another room in a separate way, and second day morning you find cat has taken milk from there also. Who is more intelligent? So cat is also intelligent. Animals also have intelligence. Birds have intelligence. Then what is the difference between man and animal? Teilhard de Chardin says beautifully, while a man knows what he knows, an animal does not know what it knows. A man knows how to steal the milk, but he also knows that stealing the milk is not good, and so I will not steal. The cat knows how to steal the milk, but cat does not know whether to steal the milk is good or bad, and whether this knowledge of stealing the milk is good or bad. So, while a man knows what he knows, an animal does not know what it knows. This is called the power of discrimination, the faculty of discrimination, vivek, vivek buddhi. Vivek is power of discrimination. The greater the vivek somebody has, especially has got special power of discrimination. No other species has got that power of discrimination. Or the other animals and birds and other species, they have got IQ. They know how to steal the milk, but they do not know what do they know. And they do not know how to know what to know and what not to know. That power of discrimination, what should be done and what should not be done, is only with the human species. So greater a person, the greater the person has got viveka, or this power of discrimination, the greater that person is. And the person in whom this power of discrimination is maximum, he is called Vivekananda, and that is why we worship him. And how did he get this Vivek, power of discrimination? Not so cheaply. You just go through the book of Swami Vivekananda, very nice, beautiful book you will get there. Beautiful book, Swami Vivekananda life and his teaching. Beautiful book. You will find, and also friend of all, there you will find lot of incidents mentioned in which it is told when, he had no faith in these gods and goddesses. He did not believe in the image worship, Murti Puja. He didn't believe. He was a member of Brahmo Samaj, and he had given, and if anybody had to become a member of Brahmo Samaj, during those times it was a fashion for the youths to become members of Brahmo Samaj and to give declaration writing, I will not enter any temple and I will not bow down my head before any stone image. Because they used to hate the stone images. So Swami Vivekananda used to, when he was a college student, he used to go to Sri Ramakrishna, but he used to make jokes of that black stone of Mother Kali. So what, you are going and worshipping the black stone? Likewise, he used to cut jokes. But Sri Ramakrishna did not take any offense. But the whole things turned like that in his life. He was coming from an aristocratic family. His father was a great attorney in the High Court of Calcutta. Suddenly he died out of heart attack. And all the miseries came suddenly. And the other relatives, they took away the house also. So they were homeless. They had no money. The money were taken away by some others. And they suddenly became very poor. And Narendranath was the eldest brother. And he had to see with his own eyes, his mother is starving, his younger brothers are starving, nothing to food, no food. He was having a very aristocratic family, he was coming from aristocratic family, suddenly became very poor. And we are surprised to know, during those times, to become a graduate was more difficult than nowadays to become IAS officer. That time he had become a graduate, and that time everybody used to go for law. Just as the highest ambition for anybody now is to go for civil service examination, that time the highest ambition, because civil service examination was very far off thing, you have to go to UK. So the highest thing they aspired was law. And he was pursuing law degree. Such a person, such an intelligent person like Vivekananda, Narendranath Dutt, having BA degree, graduate, and studying in law, was not getting any job. He underwent the problem of unemployment, so much so that he had to see his own mother and younger brother starving. Finally, he could not contain himself, went to Sri Ramakrishna and he said, I heard that Mother Kali listens to your prayers. Why don't you listen? Why don't you tell your mother about our problem, financial problem? Then Sri Ramakrishna said, you know, my sir, my dear son, I have never prayed to my mother, Divine Mother, for any worldly matters. I have always prayed to him, prayed to her for devotion. But you are suffering all these things because you cut jokes about my mother. You know, my mother is not my mother, it is your mother also. She is your mother also. She is the mother of all. She is the Divine Mother. You go and pray to her yourself, you will get whatever you want. And today is Tuesday. Today is a dark moon day, a special day, Amavasya, a special day devoted to Mother Kali. Go. Today if you go to the temple, I assure you, Mother will grant you whatever you want. Go. Narendranath had no faith in Mother Kali, but he had developed full faith in Sri Ramakrishna because he saw Ramakrishna never told a lie. He had seen with his own eyes. So he developed little faith. When Sri Ramakrishna has told that Mother will grant me boon, well, really, it may come true. And then he went to the temple and suddenly he found there is no image. The Divine Mother with all the splendor is there. And he fell down and started crying, Mother, 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 Mother. Mother, please give me devotion at your lotus feet. Please give me devotion. Please give me knowledge. Please give me power of discrimination. Please give me vivek. Please give me power of dispassion, vairagya. Please give me the power of devotion, bhakti. Please give me the power of knowledge. Please give me gyan. I don't want anything. And after some time, he came to Sri Ramakrishna's room. Sri Ramakrishna asked, Mother gave you vision? Yes. Oh, wonderful vision. Such a wonderful form I saw. And I am full. I was so happy. So now your problem is solved. Mother has given you money. Oh, I forgot to ask that. What? You went for that and you forgot that? Go quickly. Again go. And again, Swami Vivekananda went, Narendranath. But again, he saw, oh Mother, please give me devotion at your lotus feet. I don't want anything. I want jnana. I want bhakti. I want vivek. I want vivek, vairagya. I don't want anything else. Like that he prayed for some time and he came. Then Sri Ram came, no, now everything is over. Your problem is solved, financial problem. Oh, I forgot. What? I have heard that you are a very intelligent boy studying in college and such a small thing you can't remember. Go quickly again. Now Narendranath is going, Mother, give me money. Mother, give me money. Mother, give me money. So that he doesn't forget. And as he was stepping up, suddenly the thought came to him, what? What I am doing? Going to the Mother, Empress of the whole universe, asking for little few rupees, money. Oh, so bad on my part. What a foolish thing I am doing. It is like Sri Ramakrishna used to tell a story. There was a farmer who went to the king and the king became very pleased with him. He said, okay, ask anything that you want. And the farmer said, okay, if you are so happy with me, okay, please give me 5 kg of brinjal, vegetable. You fool, you could have asked for 5 big villages. King could have given 5 villages and you are asking only 5 kg of brinjal. I am going to Divine Mother who can grant me anything in the world, going for just few rupees. No, Mother, I don't want money. I want bhakti, I want knowledge, I want vivek, I want vairagya, I don't want anything. And then he came back. Then Sri Ram came, now your problem solved. You are doing something from here. After going there, my mind changes. You are doing something from here. And really Sri Ramakrishna was doing something from here. From here, he was worshipping, he was praying to Mother, make her mind change. Mother, make her mind change. And her mind gets changed. Now Narendranath said, I am not going to go again. You have to do anything. Then Sri Ramakrishna came into a very super conscious state. He went, okay, I bless you. Your family members will not suffer from gross needs of cloth and food. And from that time onwards, Narendranath's family started getting little food and little cloth, and immediately Narendranath renounced the world and became a monk. Now the whole